After almost 15 years of being a professional snowboarder, one thing I've learned about getting to know a resort is to link up with the people who know it the best. In this series, we'll be traveling to new resorts, meeting up with the locals, and discovering the best runs, drinks, and food. Welcome to Mountain Recon. We met up with a group of local riders, including Jeff Blaylock and Brian Zeger, to see all the best side hits and runs the mountain has to offer. Mount Bachelor, Oregon is home to some recognizable names like Josh Dirksen, Ben and Gabe Ferguson, Austin Smith, and many more. It's also host to some of snowboarding's most memorable events like the Dirksen Derby and the Hella Big Air. With its 4,300 acres of lift-accessible terrain, the highest rideable elevation in the area, and easy proximity to the town of Bend, Bachelor has it all. After a full day of riding, we decided to hit the lodge, grab a drink, eat some food, and get a little local knowledge. If you had to describe the overall style of this mountain to somebody who would want to come here, how would you describe it?
It's a skate park.
Okay, that's...
Yeah, you just go anywhere and there's always something to get sporty on, so.
That was actually one thing we were talking about that's really cool about this mountain is that you stand on the top and it's a 360-degree mountain, right? Yep. So you can go pretty much any direction and get your way back. What is up with the Cloud Chaser beer, 10 barrel?
We wanted to make a beer that was named after the chairlift. We came up with a great IPA. It's actually a beer that you can only get up here at Bachelor and like one or two other local places in Bend.
That's pretty cool, I didn't know that. So locals only. The town of Bend is a short drive from the mountain and is also home to SnoPlanks, a local snowboard brand which builds their boards to order. We were in the neighborhood, so we decided to head over to their home office and get the full rundown from co-founder and head shaper, James Nichols.
So SnoPlanks started in 2012. Wanted to try to build a powder board that was really used for riding Mount Bachelor. Started shaping boards, just kind of in my garage. Started doing some glassing. I used to make surfboards down in San Diego when I lived down there, and so it was just kind of playing around with those techniques. Got some friends on them, and we started really trying to refine how they were made. Sold a few, and it became a business.
And when someone orders a board from you, you guys actually get the order, see what they want, and then you go and make it?
Yeah, that's right. So basically we will work with the customer to figure out exactly what they want, and then usually the shaping process takes about 6 to 10 days, and we will shape the board here, ship it out, and then we work with that customer moving forward. It's a relationship ongoing from there.
There's a ton of things to do in the town of Bend, Oregon. If you need a wax or any gear, head over to the local Tactics snowboard shop and they'll have you covered. If you're looking for a drink, be sure to stop into Whitewater Tap House or the Capitol Bar and see what they've got on tap. If caffeine is more your thing, Spoken Moto is a great spot to get your fix. Everywhere we went, people kept telling us about the river wave in downtown Bend. After a little convincing, we got some gear and met up with locals Simon Elston and Alex Lopez, who agreed to get out there and show me the ropes.
All right, so you surfed before?
I have.
Forget it.
Okay.
Forget everything you learned about surf. The hardest person to teach is someone who surfed, because the idea out there that you're going to have this muscle memory.
Yeah.
Throw it out the window. But we'll get at you. We'll get you up there. All
okay.
Right? I'll give you a few tricks. The trial and error thing is going to be a little short. So
all right.
You ready for it?
Yeah, let's go.
All right, let's get it done, son.
are currently in the river surfing. It is awesome. I was terrified. I'm just a wuss. It is super fun. It's pretty hard. It's definitely hard. Different than surfing, but it's super fun. Pretty cold, but you just have to be in your wetsuit and then it's all good. There's really nothing like a cold beer after a long day on the hill or in the water. 10 Barrel Brewing has been a Ben staple for years. We met up with Senior Brewmaster Jimmy Seifert to give us a tour of their facilities.
Name 10 Barrel, that came from basically a mistake we made initial beginning of the company where we actually was called Wildfire. We ended up finding out that Wildfire was the name of a barbecue restaurant in Chicago. We had to switch to another name, we had to do it quick. So we have a 10 Barrel brew house. So hence we renamed our beer 10 Barrel Brewing Company. As we've grown, we've been able to expand our overall philosophy, which for us is, let's not take ourselves too seriously. Let's make beer and have fun doing it. All right, so we've arrived at where the magic happens here at 10 Barrel, right?
All right.
So what we're doing here is basically creating food for our yeast. Our yeast takes this food, makes CO2, and then what we're really all about is getting the alcohol out of it, right? In the kettle, what we want to do is we need to sterilize it, right? We obviously want to make sure that nothing else is growing in our beer besides our ale yeast, and then also where we add our hops to the beer, and also kind of gets rid of a couple of the compounds we don't like DMS and some of the other stuff.
What does the yeast do exactly?
Yeah, so what the yeast is doing is taking these simple sugars, right? And they're processing these simple sugars, and then the part of the process is like expelling CO2 and alcohol. So we're feeding them, and they're just going to town, and kind of the byproduct we get from feeding them is that alcohol and CO2.
Whoa, okay, so without yeast, there's no beer.
Yeah, without yeast, we're nothing. Without yeast, we have this sugary mass of nothing that is pretty only thing it's good for. It's like watering your lawn.
Okay. So this is about as fresh of a beer as you can get.
So, I'm a big fan of drinking beer, so we gotta drink this properly too. So I want you to swirl the beer in the glass, and then I want you to take one long sniff, and then two short sniffs, and then let's let this beer roll over our tongue. Oh yeah.
Thank you so much. The canning line at 10 Barrel headquarters is incredible. This thing can crank out about 260 cans a minute, which equates to almost 375,000 cans a day. Plus, we got to grab beers right off the line. It doesn't get any fresher than that.
That's it, man. Saw everything happen. Brewing, cellaring. Got to taste a couple barrels. Tony tasted it out on that awesome peach IPA. It's the final product, man, right in front of us. Appreciate you guys coming out and visiting with us.
Hey, thank you so much, Jimmy. Appreciate it.
Cheers, man. I gotta get out of here.
The local RV scene at Bachelor is truly legendary. Everyone's just grilling out, having bonfires, drinking beer, and it's one of the most fun parking lot parties you'll ever go to.
Now Bachelor, baby!
After a couple days of checking out Bend and riding the mountain, I went back up to announce the 10 Barrel Brewing Hella Big Air contest, where some of the best riders in the world came to Throwdown, competing for a giant cash purse. Between the town of Bend and Mount Bachelor, we had an amazing time checking out all that the area had to offer. There's a reason that Bachelor is regarded as a snowboarder's mountain, and it should be on every rider's bucket list.